Let me ask you a question, a really simple one. Why do you want what you want? Sounds easy, right? But the answer, well, the answer is one of the most powerful and most hidden forces shaping your entire life. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and take a good look at it.
You know how this goes. 1 minute, you're totally fine, perfectly happy with your phone. The next, your friend shows up with the latest, greatest model, and bam! Suddenly, your phone feels like a dinosaur. Or maybe you see an influencer's post about some career path you'd literally never thought about, and all of a sudden, it becomes your new obsession. What is happening there? Where do these intense, out-of-nowhere desires even come from?
Okay, so let's get right to the core idea. It comes from a French thinker named René Girard, and his claim is pretty wild. Most of your desires aren't actually your desires. He says they're contagious. Yep, like a virus. We catch them from other people simply by copying what they want. So here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into why you want things in the first place. Then we'll explore the hidden worlds that influence you. After that, we'll look at the dark side of all this. And finally, and this is the important part, we'll give you a practical toolkit for learning how to want well. All right, let's start with the big concept. Unlike animals, who are hardwired to want food, water, shelter, humans, we're a bit different. When it comes to the big stuff, careers, lifestyles, goals, we don't automatically know what to desire. There are just too many options. So what do? We look around, we search for clues, we find models, other people, to show us what's actually worth wanting.
And this, right here, is what Girard called mimetic desire. And the tricky part is, it mostly operates in the background, totally unconsciously. You know, your colleague starts talking about that big promotion with this fire in their eyes, and you feel a little spark of that same ambition. Someone on your feed posts a picture from their trip to Bali, and suddenly it feels like the most incredible place on earth. We think we're making these free, independent choices, but a lot of the time, we're just mirroring the desires we see all around us.
Now, here's where it gets really, really interesting. Not all models of desire are created equal. Where the desire comes from completely changes how it affects you. Turns out, we're all living in two very different worlds of influence at the same time. So on one side, you have what's called Celebristan. This is the world of your distant models. Think of people like Elon Musk, or maybe a historical figure you admire, or your favorite musician. Because they're so far away, we can't really compete with them, right? So their desires inspire us. But then there's Freshmanistan. This is the world of people right next to us. Our friends, our coworkers, even our siblings. In this world, the models are close, and the desire they spark, well, that often turns into intense comparison, jealousy, and straight-up rivalry. And this distinction helps us sort our wants into two buckets. First, you've got thin desires. These are the trendy, shallow wants that are usually born in Freshmanistan. They're the source of that constant, nagging feeling that you're falling behind. Then you have thick desires. These are the deep, lasting wants that are connected to your core values. They feel right, they feel meaningful, even if nobody else is patting you on the back for them. And this, of course, is where things can get messy. When we're not aware of these mimetic forces, especially in that close-quarters world of Freshmanistan, that feeling of admiration you have for someone can sour and turn into something much, much darker. Yeah, this path from model to rival is almost predictable. It starts with simple imitation. Then you move closer to them, into their world. Before you know it, you're competing for the exact same things: status, attention, you name it. And finally, the person you once looked up to is now a rival, a threat. Think of it like two people on a trampoline. Every move one person makes to get higher just destabilizes the other one. That is mimetic rivalry in a nutshell. And this just perfectly explains why social media is so incredibly powerful, doesn't it? It's basically a giant mimetic desire machine. It completely collapses the distance between you and your models, making celebrities feel like they're your peers. It multiplies the number of potential rivals in your life from a handful of people you know to literally millions online, creating this awful constant feeling that you're losing some invisible race. Now, when this kind of rivalry infects an entire group, like an office or an online community, it can explode into what Girard called a mimetic crisis. Suddenly, everyone is fighting over the same little scraps of status. To break that unbearable tension, the group instinctively finds a common enemy to unite against. They find a scapegoat who gets blamed for everything.
Okay, so this all sounds a little grim, right? But listen, the point isn't to stop imitating people. That's literally impossible. The point is to become aware of it and to start choosing our desires with intention. It's about learning how to want well. So let's get practical. Let's open up the toolkit.
Step 1, and this is by far the most important.
you have to name your models. You have to make the unconscious conscious. And you have to be really honest when you ask yourself these questions. Just the act of identifying who is secretly shaping your desires is a huge, huge step toward getting your freedom of choice back.
Second thing you can do, build your own hierarchy of values. Look, if you don't decide what's truly important to you, then you're just going to get pulled around by what everyone else values. By actually ranking what matters most, like putting integrity over status, like in this example, you create a personal filter. It gives you the power to ask, is this new desire I'm feeling just a thin, passing trend, or does it actually serve one of my thick, core values?
And third, you need to cultivate what you could call anti-mimetic habits. This is all about creating enough space so you can actually hear your own voice again. Practice silence. Go for long walks. Meditate. Whatever works. Take intentional breaks from those competitive environments or social media feeds that are always hijacking your wants. And for big decisions, just slow down. Give it time and see if the desire is real and stable, or if it was just a fleeting mimetic fad.
And let's be really clear here. The goal isn't to be free from all influence. That's a total myth. Nobody achieves that. True freedom is the ability to consciously choose your models. It's about picking mentors and heroes who pull you toward your thick desires, toward actual growth and fulfillment, and not just into shallow status games.
And this brings us to our final and maybe our most powerful insight. In this whole web of desire, you're not just on the receiving end. You're also a transmitter. You have what we could call mimetic responsibility, because every single thing you choose to want, every ambition you chase, is modeling desire for someone else, your kids, your friends, the people you work with.
So, the question I'll leave you with is this. You are a model, whether you realize it or not. So, what desires are you modeling for the world? What are you teaching others to want?